to preface the story, I worked a number of years in the woods, starting running a chainsaw at 18, fucking up a bunch of chaps, and then learning what I was doing. Finally, it clicked, and did a lot of thinning, and then some hazard tree removal, a lot of tree planting oversight, a lot of hiking in the woods, that kind of stuff. Long experience.
So you worked for.
So, and at the same time, I was attending architecture school, and in 2008, I graduated. I was like, oh, glory be, no more temporary Forest Service job. Out into the world to design where you can impact society and make people's lives
2008.
awesome.
Perfect timing.
And got a phone call. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I got some interviews. Cross this noise, and then I got a phone call. I got a series of phone calls canceling interviews, and I was like, okay, cool.
Oh,
and so
man.
Back in the woods it was.
Oh.
But that was again a temporary appointment, and the term of my employment was contingent upon attending school, and so I could only finish out a small portion. So I was like, well, what the hell? I'll go ahead and see what jobs are out there.
Yeah.
And the only job I could find was a Craigslist job.
Nice.
For tree service work.
I found this job on Craigslist,
right?
so I'm
so did
stoked.
So I'm stoked too.
Yeah.
But at that time, that was the first Craigslist experience, and
first?
My first.
Really?
Yeah, that was would have been
pretty much all my jobs I found on
yeah.
Craigslist. That's really sad.
See, but well, no, it just means you're
it's a good
little
thing,
bit more of that technological spectrum or whatever. I went and I got yeah, exactly. Most of my jobs were classified jobs, like up until that point.
That's awesome.
So
I don't think I've ever looked at
right. I'm not that much older than you.
No, I have. I think I found my.
I'm only 34.
I found my second car through the classified.
How old are you?
30.
30. See, I'm only 4 years older than you. So
yeah, so it's not that much.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I think in our generation.
There's a huge change.
There's a huge change.
There's a huge change.
Some even going up, but you can have like a person, that is like a little bit more technological, even at like close to 40 right now.
Oh yeah.
And then you can have ones that are old kind of souls that are like 25 right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's all over.
It's all over the place, and it's just and I think I'm probably odd in some capacities that way, but shit, I forgot where I was at.
No, I think you're just fine. No, you're talking your job.
Yeah,
you
okay,
so Craigslist.
So I got on Craigslist, and so it's a tree service job in a small town in Central Oregon.
Okay.
I was like, oh man, I can do all that. I mean, I'm certified federally to do all that stuff, and I've got extensive experience. So it's like, okay, fuck it, I'll do it. And so go show up and do the interview, and he has me climb, and I do some limbing and stuff, and it's like, dude, I can do this. It's fine. Like, boom, boom, boom. This
yeah, I know how to fucking do it, man.
And he's a little condescending, and to paint a picture.
Yeah.
Here
comes the guy.
5'4".
Comic book. I'm just
5'4". Red hair. Okay,
red
so
hair?
Picture the Travelocity gnome.
Oh.
With big old red beard.
Big old red beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it? Was it always a hat? Was it like a hat?
No, just as he literally looked like a garden gnome. Like you could put him in the yard.
No, but what was the hat? Did he have the red?
He just had red hair that was kind of pointy.
But I feel like all of it. Oh, he had red hair.
Yeah.
That was pointy.
Yeah. So.
Oh shit! So he does.
I'm not fucking joking.
Oh, my bad.
So, okay, first of all, I want to be really clear. I'm not going to degrade people who have red hair or people who are short. I give my last name, and given my growth history, I'm not going to make fun of those.
Did you say your last name?
I have not. No,
I didn't think so.
No. Like we can say it if you want. I don't care.
No.
Okay.
I think it's funny. We might do that.
We'll do it another one again in the future.
Yep.
Give you some bombs here.
Oh, it's gonna be so awesome.
So we get up and I get up the street, knock it down, do the whole thing. It's in his backyard. Garden Gnome is unfortunately unable to say his R's or his L's. So it's like, hey, Mr. Small. Okay, Mr. Small. I think that you can kind of climb, but I'm not really sure if you can really lead people. So I want you to come in tomorrow and we can fly out a day at work. Okay, fine. It's fine.
So we have a garden.
So we get in there and like we go to work. We do our thing. We're good. I'm like, cool. I got a job. Fine. I get paid okay in the tree, and
it's 2008, man.
Yeah, not that big a deal.
People
Take what you can get. Take what you get.
Yeah.
Take what you get. And so this guy's a nightmare. First day we go to a canyon rim to go cut this big kind of what we would call a wolfed out ponderosa. It means an open grown ponderosa, big wide canopy on the south facing flank, so it kind of has what we call a pistol butt, which it means it's a recorrected growth, and so it looks like one of those old like Spanish pistols. Right, one of those old like sloping profiles of the bowl as it connects to the ground.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Interesting.
It's called a pistol butt, and so that it's a correction thing. It goes up, and then most of the canopies on the south, on the downhill side, because that's where you get the most sun, so the branches grow longer there.
Okay.
So it's a pretty complex fall, right? And so it's something that like if you're a really good faller, you know how to read, you understand. Okay, these are the factors. There's wind coming from here. There's open canopy. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that. Pa 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 pa. So, my first day for him, he asked me to go to cut this tree. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Yeah.
Do you want?
I do.
Go for it.
Yeah, I don't want to lose the story.
No, we got the time. It don't fucking matter, man. I remember this story. You're sitting at a fucking crazy looking tree. I want to know what the tree would look like. So, what would you say would be the easiest thing to Google right now?
If you Googled 42-inch pistol butt ponderosa pine.
What if I just go pistol butt?
Just go look at a big ponderosa pine.
Just big,
on a slope.
Big.
Right.
God, all these fucking big words with you, man. Ponderosa. I'm really terrible at fucking whatever.
No, dude, Google.
Like I said, man,
Google the Great Equalizer.
I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm
horrible. I'm horrible at spelling.
Like,
we were talking about it. We were talking about a trauma. They're like, how do you spell trauma? I'm like Traum, like trauma. I'm like, oh, Traum, and they're like
That's why I have
Trombe.
Google, man. It just tells me after I put it in, it'll just be like, do you mean this? Fuck yeah, I mean that, man.
That's exactly what the fuck I mean.
Put it the fuck in.
Thank
you.
you.
That in the first place.
Thank you, Google.
Why don't you just autocorrect it like a fucking iPhone?
Yeah. So.
Because usually an iPhone autocorrects.
Yeah.
But it's always the wrong fucking thing. I'm gonna check these cameras.
So basically, when you're dealing with a tree like that, you're looking at like a compound lean and a compound loading situation, and so there's some complex stuff. So I step up to the tree and I read it, and I'm like, okay, this is the deal. This tree is going right over here. And do the read. I report to the boss. I got 2 other helpers there. I'm like, okay, Caleb, it's basically going here. You guys need to get out of the way. It's going that way. I put my face cut in. I start, what I've always been taught is you cut.
Not a lot of people will know what you're fucking talking
you
about. That's
cut
okay.
at
He's cutting it.
Oh yeah, so this is the deal. Cutting a tree, you got steps. We'll walk you through this. Tell a lot of people this. Okay, so you step at the tree, you address the tree is what you call it, and then you put in a horizontal cut. That's the beginning of a face cut.
Yeah.
Okay, so that determines the angle, the azimuth of fall, right?
Yeah.
Degrees from north.
Yeah.
And so you kind of read the tree, you kind of figure out where it wants to go, and then you figure out where you want it to go, and you try and figure out how to accomplish that. And so you use the face cut to establish your desired line of fall, and then you use the holding wood behind it to figure out how that energy that exists in the tree can translate to make it happen. So if you're really, really good, you can turn trees mid-cut. You can have them fall and turn.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, and so
I'm using a fall line, right?
Nope.
I went out and
not using any taglines, just by cutting mechanics, just from the dynamics of tree cutting itself.
It was fucking cool. Total different thing.
Well, so this guy, the industry standard is to cut at comfort. You want to be safe when you cut, always.
Yeah.
You can always low stump. You can always address your cut afterwards, right? You can clean up your workspace when you're done.
Okay.
When the hazard is gone. So you always want to cut comfortably, safely. Mm-hmm. So I got dress this tree, cut comfortably, start my face, cut it like hip height. So boom, put in that cut, started, go, he hits me on the head. I'm like only like an inch in the tree. Hits me with the stick. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on?
So you're on the ground.
I'm standing. So I would be, if the slope is here, the tree is doing something like that. All right, I'm coming from top side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right,
okay.
So I'm cutting at comfort. So instead of cutting here,
yeah,
I was cutting like this.
Got it. Comfortably.
Cutting at comfort.
Yeah.
Right there.
Cut it to fucking comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how you're safe. You want to be in an athletic, comfortable position, because if anything comes down, you need to get the fuck out of there. You need to get out of there really quick.
Yeah, you gotta be able to fucking sprint.
Exactly, and you have to be cognizant of that when you're falling dangerous dead trees. So when you're doing that, I'm putting this cut in, and he hits me. I'm like, what the fuck? Because you don't do that. Once a cut starts, you stay the fuck away from the cutter. The only person who has any reason to talk to them is their safety, who is setting the wedges. That was my boss. So he had a right to address me, and he had the right to interrupt me. But it's reserved for danger.
Yeah.
It's not what happened. When what transpired was, he said, this is off the cuff impression, he goes, Quiz, what are you doing cutting like that? Like, I'm not certain, sir, what you're talking about. And he's like, Quiz, industry standard, cut 4 inches off the ground. I was like, 4 inches off the ground? He's like, 4 inches off the ground, Quiz. I'm like, okay, so, you sure? Because that low on this tree, we're going to be in that root collar, and we're going to be cutting mineral. 4 inches off the ground, Quiz. That's all. Your chainsaw. I'll do it. So, this was after, by the way, and I forgot this in the initial setup, he chastised me for grabbing the 440 saw, because a wheel soya can cut this tree with a 036. Who the fuck are you? For those who don't know, which is most of you, those are steel chainsaws, a 440 MS versus a 360. So, and it's a totally different saw. Like, this is and the rule is, for those of you who don't know, because a lot of people do, you use the biggest saw you can. Do you know why?
Do you like your jacket?
It cuts quickly.
You look like you're a little cold.
A little cold.
I know I'm getting a little cold. And still, I'm like, God damn it! I was really hoping that it wouldn't get that cold, but we're still in the winter.
Dude, this is
we gotta remember that.
Beautiful.
That's what's crazy. I can't wait until summertime because I'm wondering. I just have it open.
Hell yeah.
Fucking have it open and do it. No one's fucking around here. There's like a little fucking creek behind me and shit.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's pretty sweet. Well, it's an alleyway too, because I'm in the garage, so it's behind my fucking house. Yeah. Yeah, please do. I'm trying to figure out if I want to yet. I don't know. Maybe. I fucking might. You never know. Trump, give me some news.
Oh, Jesus.
It's starting to get into your head.
Oh, shit.
He's already in it.
I don't even remember where it was.
Let's
see. Oh, yeah. He hit me in the head. Anyways. So I go and I'm like, fine, I'll cut it 4 fucking inches.
Because you wanted the bigger. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna.
You should have had the bigger saw.
I was gonna use a Humboldt instead.
Smaller saw, right?
Yeah, bigger saw. Use a smaller saw. Cut at comfort. Fuck you, comfort's stupid because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll cut it 4 inches. So I'll just chew up your chain, eat a bunch of dirt with your saw.
Yep.
Okay, and suck all that in the air filter. Thumbs up, you dumb shit face. But yes, I did it. And you go from the Humboldt, which is a cleaner cut and gives you more usable wood and less likelihood of barber chairing.
Okay.
Which is where you put the face cut horizontally and you put your angled cut up from the bottom. So when the tree cuts, when you release it at an even cut of the original cut, the log itself provides kickback safety.
Oh, really?
Because it falls into the face.
Ooh.
The other way is a conventional cut, and that's what you see where you have a horizontal cut, then an angled cut, and then what you call your holding wood and your
It's all good.
he called it neck wood. I'm trying to remember the real wood. There's a whole thing. There's a whole other story there.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a little intoxicated, or would pull it like to match, but so basically it's a safer cut.
Okay.
Humboldt's a safer cut if you know what you're doing, and you have more log that you can keep and save and use.
Got it.
So it's what loggers tend to use, and it's what people who know what they're doing tend to use.
Got it.
So, but instead I had to go to a conventional forester because I was no way I'm getting an angle cut in the bottom 4 inches, and get through that. It's a double cut on the backside. Set my shelf. Start my secondary cut in the double. You set a shelf as you scribe. Basically, you do a plunge cut, and you cut. You know where that line is of the face cut.
Okay.
And you plunge cut and you drag across.
Got it.
And you set a compression replacement wedge. You do it on the compression side.
Okay.
Of the cut, and then you nail in a compression replacement wedge.
Got it.
And then you rip through that cut to set your hinge on the other side of the face, and you plunge it.
God damn. To cut a tree. People.
It's fun as hell. It is so much fun.
Go the fuck in your backyard if you're ever like, I don't want to get rid of that fucking tree.
Yeah, call somebody who knows what they're doing.
Call somebody who knows. That fucking tree, man.
I can't
I'm
remember.
going to go out there and I'm going to tie a line to it and I'm going to fucking cut it and I'm going to pull it. Don't.
I think
Please.
a 24-inch.
This is the right way to do shit.
I think it's a 24-inch Ponderosa round. That's 1 foot. I think it weighs 200 pounds. You can Google that. They have per foot. They have
much shit you've talked about trees. I'm gonna fucking believe anything
super
that comes out of
heavy.
your mouth.
So it's fucking heavy.
Tree.
So if you're cutting a 24-inch tree that's 100 foot tall, and probably 180 somewhere in there, that's a shit fucking load of weight. That's a lot of weight there. Anyways, so I do this cut, and I'm doing the back cut, and I'm committed. Like, the tree's moving. Like, you can when you're cutting, especially using an underpowered saw, you can feel that tension in the butt log, right? So when a tree starts to separate, your tension is moving from the outside of the tree where your cut started, and with every cut, that tensional load of that lever that's swinging out there is moving closer to that face cut. And so when it reaches critical mass, it snaps and it falls.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that's when you have a bending break, a failure in bending, right?
But it's going the way you want it to.
But it's going exactly where you want it at that point.
Yep.
So I'm doing that, and so as that tension moves through the tree, you can really feel it in the saw and how the saw responds, and you know you're getting close because it starts being less grabby on the chain itself. It starts cutting quicker, and like it feels a little bit lighter, and it's kind of a nuanced feeling, but you can definitely feel it. So I was there, like it was going, and I get pap 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 on top of my helmet, and I'm like, what the fuck? And like it's there. I'm like, and he's like, cut it off, turn it the fuck off. I'm like, okay, turn this off, pull out. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, let's see if I can nail this because I still remember this fucking asshole. He goes, Quiz. He's actually pissed. So he's like, you fucking. He goes, oh, God damn it. I'm going to pull this vision. I can pull this up in my head. I'm going to pull this up. He looks at me and he goes, Quiz, this tree, he's setting my wedges, by the way. So what that means is as I'm committing to this face, he set a wedge behind the chainsaw blade and it's driving that wedge to help the tree want to go over.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So he's applying physics to it. And it's a giant tree. This is a 36-inch at least.
It's big. It's
24, 36. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a big fucking tree. It's a big fucking tree. Very heavy tree. And when you're falling on a cross slope with a pistol butt, you have to know what you're doing. So on the uphill side, when it's a southern facing slope, you have to leave more holding wood than on the downhill side because there's a shitload of branches that are facing south on that downhill side. It's southern aspect slope, so it's facing south. So all those branches are applying a shitload of force over here. So in order to let this tree go like this, you have to your holding wood has to be different. It has to be a long triangle, basically.
Okay.
And so that's I knew. I'm like, boom, computer, and doing this, and this fucking guy does this, and he goes, I think this tree is sitting on the wedge. I'm like, my experience in training, the best thing to do is to commit to this cut.
Oh, so it's on what he was pushing.
And he's
Is that
saying,
what you mean?
yeah, and he said, and when a tree's sitting on a wedge, it's okay. When a tree sits back and pinches your bar, you're fucked. But if the chainsaw is running and pulling, your bar's not pinched.
Got it.
Right, and so your wedge is your protection against that. No, he's an idiot. So he doesn't understand the dynamics, and so what he should have done is let me commit to the cut a little further, and kept hitting the fucking wedge, and in about 3 seconds it would have fallen down. But he had no idea. So he goes. So I said, well, my training tells me to commit to this cut and just knock it down. He goes, well, what did your training tell you to do when your boss tells you to do something different? And I said, well, my training tells me to do what my boss wants. If you'd like me to backfall this tree, I can backfall the tree. But
at this point,
but I'm telling you right now, if I backfall this tree, it's going to sit and pinch.
I figured out this game. It's like Inside Out, the fire one.
Yep.
That's what it is. But think of a gnome, and now like
he's just an angry little guy. He's just an angry little guy. Yeah. And I told him, look, I'll backfall it. It's fine. I'll do it. And for those who don't know, a backfall is a committed uppercut. So you're basically saying that the wood that you've cut below is fine or above. If you cut too high, you can do a back cut below. It's not that safe. You should really be cutting above, but things happen.
Got it.
So what you do is basically address it to the appropriate lean and follow. But he didn't want it to go down the hill specifically, which is the only really safe way in that instance to back follow the tree.
Got it.
But it had, in my estimation, enough wood because it was a big fucking tree.
Okay.
It had a couple of 8x across the tree. 8 by 16, 8 by 32 beam is basically what it had left.
Got it.
At 4 inches, right?
Shit.
And so, so that's probably strong enough. So I'll try a conventional backfall. I can set a wedge if I have to, but I was convinced it was gonna fucking pinch. And so, lo and behold, boom, do the cut, pop, 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 it pinches about the 2.5 inches into not even a full bar depth.
Ah, man.
Into the cut, and he's pissed. He's fucking embarrassed and pissed because I told it did exactly what I told him it would do.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And so he goes, Caleb, give me your saw. And I was like, he goes, you're going to set my wedges. He goes and grabs Caleb's saw, and he addresses the tree. He goes,
I thought he was calling you, Caleb.
He reinserted back into my cut, and he overcut the motherfucker. It was faced perfect online. Perfect. It was going exactly where I wanted it to. No two ways. It went down the hill by about 20 degrees, and the motherfucker is like, you can't fucking set a face cut to save your life. I'm like, oh my god. But if you look at the stump, it's anybody who can do stump analysis would be like, who fucking did this back cut? This back cut is fucked. That was day one.
That was day one?
I made it 6 weeks.
No way.
I made it 6 weeks.
Oh shit.
No. It didn't end really well either. So.
Oh my goodness.
He's a cool guy.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
How many more stories do you really have?
I probably could tell you just about him, probably 10 or 15 stories.
Oh my goodness, that'd be so much.
So,
that's so awesome.
I have a lot
of
fun stories.
Super selective.
Yeah.
The best part about that fucking story was the fact that it was the first fucking day.
First fucking day, and I was like, oh no.